everyone, it's Tina with Tiaza's Treasures. Today I have 10 cards from Spellbinders August 2021 kit of the month called Art School. So to start with, this first card, as you can see, I've taken some pattern paper and I'm using my score buddy there. You're going to see me use it all throughout this video to line up my paper because otherwise I always get it crooked. So I took the die that comes in the kit and using some pearlescent paper, you can use white paper as well, I cut it out, and then using all the pattern papers in the kit except for the purple, which I pulled out of my stash, I cut this palette again so I can get the little paint inserts, which also gives me some nice little hearts I get to use later on. So I also, the little tube of paint is from the dies and the paintbrushes, and the little easel there is from the stamps in the kit, and I took the easel and I took one of the sayings. It's a make stuff and be happy kind of day, and I stamped that on there and fussy cut it out. I just thought that easel was so cute. There is some ephemera easels as well in the pre-cut die cuts that I use a couple times on the cards coming up as well. This is certainly an artsy type of kit. So yeah, I'm gluing everything down here and kind of figuring out where I want it to go. And it's just, I use most of the die cuts that I cut out on this card. I'm not sure if I had any other ones. I think the only other thing that wasn't a pre-cut die was ephemeral later on in the kit that I stamped out. You'll see that when we get to it. I thought this little smiley face was so cute, and the yellow just kind of pops on the blue, so I had to use it. And then I'm taking some of the red sequins here, and I'm putting a few on because I just think it kind of adds to it with the red and the blue and the red paint as well. It's one of the reasons I chose the red cardstock for the little tube. So there is card number 1. Moving on to card number 2. See, I'm cleaning up as I go. I'm getting better. We have got this card, which is kind of a little bit tone on tone. It's got like pinkish paint tubes on the one pattern paper and kind of a pinkish lavender real faint floral on this sheet right here that I've just done. The paint tubes is kind of got a peachy orange as well, which kind of doesn't show up as well, but I do end up putting an orange banner on the top of this card to try to pull out some of that orange that's in the pattern paper. I just thought it was a little too pink, but there wasn't a whole lot of other colors to draw on with my choices here. It's a 2.5-inch circle die that I took to get that. You can use anything you want. So I picked out the best die cuts I could to kind of go with this card here. And this is what I ended up with. I had thought about using a pink circle or an orange circle. The kit came with bright orange cardstock for a change, but it didn't really have anything else that went well, so I just decided that a white circle would work best, because otherwise the ephemera would just all get lost on the pattern paper if I didn't have the white circle there. So I needed something kind of to break it up, and it also helps kind of draw your eye into the card. So I'm not always the best collager, but this didn't turn out too bad. I didn't have a whole lot of choice of the different colors ephemera to pick, so it's kind of what you see is what you get here. Now the little banner in the top that says be yourself, I took some of white string that I had in my stash, and I did a little double bow there, and I cut it and tied it before filming, because otherwise we'd be here all day trying to get me, you know, to make an even bow. Now, when I do bows, I always like to do a little glue dot in the center, and then I do liquid glue on either side of the glue dot, so that way the bow will stick immediately, and the liquid glue kind of has time to dry, and then I think that secures it a little bit better to the card. That's my thought anyway. So some of these leftover hearts from doing the paint palette on the first card I end up using here. And these are some little pearlescent white hearts that I thought just kind of really went well with the theme of the card. We've got a little pink heart and an orange heart in the white circle. So these little pearlescent hearts just kind of pop out. It was a little plain without them. So this is card number 2. Now let's see. Moving on to card number 3. This card, I took some blue cardstock for the back, and I took the floral pattern paper for the background. And you're going to see that I took a black and white kind of polka dot striped piece of pattern paper to go down the middle. I'm kind of getting ahead of myself here though. Sometimes I think I should speed up these videos more, and sometimes I think I've got them going too quick because I end up talking and it's like I'm talking about one card and then boom, I'm on the next one. I'm like, well, that went fast. But if I did it in real time, like, we'd be here for over an hour. So anyhow, I've got this the gold strips I took, gold strips I took because I kind of wanted to do a little bit of divide with this paper, a little bit more than just sticking the paper itself on. I thought that I needed something to make it pop a little bit more. And you're seeing I'm gluing this on, but I'm not pressing down on the right edge because I'm going to tuck that little other gold piece under it a little bit. I made the strips a little bit wonky. They weren't exactly the same size, so I just thought I'd eyeball them when I put them on the card themselves, which is why they're underneath the black and white pattern paper. So anyhow, you see that I've got the flowers in the background, and now I'm taking the florals and I'm putting them on the stripes, on the stripe. The reason I have the stripe is because otherwise the florals would just fade into the background. And after this card was done, I think the florals kind of faded in the background anyway. I don't know if it's because I have so many of them that the black and white pattern paper doesn't really show through. I did pop up a couple of the flowers, and that helps a bit. So I've got some that are just laying flat on the paper, and then some that are popped up. And this is a pretty card. It just, from a distance, it kind of everything blends into everything else. So you're seeing me kind of glue and pop up and glue and pop up and glue. Well, I hope everybody's having a nice summer. I can't believe it's like almost done. It's August, I think, is the most depressing month just because it means summer's going to be done soon. I mean, I'm sure you who live in Arizona don't feel that way, or New Mexico or anywhere, but here in Illinois, it's going to be over soon. We get some nice days in September, but by September, it's a gamble. Is it going to be nice, or is it going to be in the 70s or 60s? You don't know. I mean, 70s are nice, but I like the water. I like being in the pool. I like the heat if I'm by the water. Otherwise, you can't really get me out of the air conditioning. I think I'm spoiled that way. I would love to have an in-ground pool. I see some of these houses with these beautiful in-ground pools, and I get so jealous. But then I think, there's probably people that are jealous of an above-ground pool, and then other people who you couldn't pay to have a pool. It's just, So I've got these cute little butterflies I popped up. I glued the center down and then popped up the wings. And then I am putting on a saying, "Thank you for your kindness," which it's chipboard, so because I wanted to pop up one side, I used my anti-static bag to get rid of the stick, and then I glued it down and put a sticker, I put the foam on the back of the one side so it's even. See, I don't even know what I'm talking about. Yeah. Dimensional, the adhesive foam pop-ups, whatever you want to call it. Here's my little butterflies that, yeah, I'm pressing down. So this card, I thought about adding sequins, but the sequins are red, and so I don't think that would go too well. So I took the Spectrum Noir Sparkle pen, and I just colored in the butterflies, and then I decided, what the heck, since I had it out, I colored up the flowers that are on the stripe going down the center. You have to let me know what you think about this card. It's like, I think I probably should have used a little bit different background paper. Anyhow, that is card number 3. Moving on. We are now on card number 4. This card, I love this yellow chevron background pattern paper. It's just so bright and cheerful. So I take my little score buddy, I line it up, otherwise I would be here pulling off the paper repeatedly because I always get it crooked, and it just makes life so much easier to do it that way, for me anyway. So I've got this little piece of green pattern paper that grounds this ephemera. It's a little lemonade stand, which is really cute, which is surprising. The kit comes with a few strawberries, but no lemons. Comes with a lemonade stand, but no lemons. So I've got my little girls here that I am gluing down. I don't know if you can hear my dogs in the background. Somebody is out walking, and so they're like pulling guard duty. So I'm in a room with a shut door just because I knew this would happen. But, I can't get mad at them. I can if I'm up there and they won't stop barking, but when I'm in a different room, that's what they're dogs, right? So I've got the puffy stickers that say, "Be You." And I thought because the blue goes so well with the yellow, it just pops, that it would be perfect to use this. Now, there are more puffy stickers with sayings that come in the kit, but a lot of them, they're multicolored and the sentiments don't always work so well. But I thought "Be You" with two girls and a lemonade stand just kind of fit. So here we go. We're moving that over. I was afraid it was going to tear the paper, but it did not. And I am using a few sequins on this. Now, even though that's the only red on the card, except for the little banner going across the lemonade stand, it works because there is some red in the lemonade stand. And so I'm kind of scattering these a little bit. I'm trying to come out of my comfort zone a little bit more when using sequins, instead of just doing 2 in the upper right corner and 1 on the bottom. As you can see, I've got 4, which is an uneven or an even number, but it works in this case. And if I want to, I could always go back and add a few more, but I think the 4 works fine. So we are moving on now to card number 5. 5 or 4? I think it might be 4. I lost count. So this is using the green that is on the paper. It matches the little strip we just had on the card in front of it. Yeah, this is card number 5, isn't it? So, see, even with the score buddy, I sometimes mess up and have to pull the paper off and re-straighten it. So I'm like tripping over my tongue. When I was getting these cards ready, I had all this ephemera that I was trying to figure out what would look good on this card. And as I was kind of putting them on the paper and trying to figure it out, they kept sliding all over the place, and I kept really having fits with stuff staying in place. And I thought, well, if I do this on camera, it's going to take quite a while. So I just ended up having it designed where I liked it. So I took a piece of the cling wrap, the press and seal, and I just pressed it on top of there before I even started filming this, so it would be ready to go when I ended up putting it on camera for all of you. And I just love that press and seal. When you get something just right and you like the way it looks, use some press and seal. Now you're going to have to really press down good with your fingers to get it to stick, and then you're going to have to be careful when you peel it off, but it works, and it works really well. Now, not saran wrap, it's got to be the press and seal. That's the only one that will work. So as you can see, I have my little collage there, and I did end up taking another piece of ephemera, a little pencil case, and I'm gluing that on top. I've got a cute little yellow stapler there I don't want to cover up, so I'm trying to figure out where to put this pencil case that it'll make sense. But because the pencil case is on top of everything, I wouldn't have been able to glue the back, and it probably would have came off with the press and seal anyway. So now I am going to put the word create on the bottom. There are the 6 separate letters, and when I pulled them out of the die cut bag, they were all mixed up, and I thought it said art at first because, you know, there is an ART in there, and I'm looking at it going, art, okay, I got a C and 2 E's left. I said, an art C is not spelled that way. So then, you know, being the champion Scrabble player that I am, I started rearranging them and thinking, okay, 6 letters, what can we spell with them? And it's like, duh, create. It's like, yeah, okay, that's it. So that's what we came up with. I'm sure we could be creative and come up with some different words. Oh, excuse me. But I think create is what Spellbinders was going for here. So I've got these glued down, and I'm trying to get them so they're spaced evenly. You know, got the even kerning. Is kerning, would you use that correctly if you've got individual letters like that? I don't know. I like to think it makes me sound smart, so we'll go with it, even though nothing could be further from the truth. So there is the C. I glued that down, and I think as I was going along here, I kind of got a little unevenly spaced. And I had to pull the C up at one point, but luckily it didn't tear the paper because it would have been bad. I'm not sure what I would have done. Now I am just using my Spectrum Noir sparkle pen to glitter it up a bit, sparkle it up, because sequins wouldn't have looked too good on this card. But as I was looking at it, I still thought it was missing something. So I took the foams, the puffy stickers here, and there was a bunch of hearts, and those worked perfectly. I was able to use like 4 different colors, which drew into all the die cut ephemera, and it just turned out really well. So that was card number, what was that, 5? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So now we're on card 6. Now this card, I took some blue cardstock, and the pattern paper that I'm using on top of this is little pencil shavings. And you wouldn't think pencil shavings would be that cute, but they really are. It's just for some reason a striking piece of paper. But because I really liked the way the pattern looked, I wanted to make sure that we didn't cover up too much of it. But I also needed stuff that was going to show. And so luckily, chipboard stickers in the kit had some things that worked. It had a little easel that says life is about happy little moments. And I thought about putting that in the center, but then I was like, I really liked nice is the new cool, and the lettering on that just matched perfectly with the rest of the cards. So that's what I ended up putting in the center. And I'm just going to end up using some of the different things, chipboard pieces, to round out this card. Here's another one of the little artist palettes. And then there's a few paint tubes. There was only the 2 colored paint tubes that came on the chipboard. And I'm like, what the heck? One is blue, that matches, and then one's pink. And that looks pretty good on this card too. And now I've got the 3 pencils left, but they've got writing on them. There's one that says terrific, one says have fun, and one says awesome. So I do end up having to point them the same ways because otherwise the lettering would be upside down. And so now this is card number 6. For card number 7, we have got another little easel. This one's got a rainbow already on it. I didn't have to make this one. I think there is a little rainbow stamp that comes in the kit too. So you could make this yourself. I would suggest coloring in the rainbow instead of using, an ink. You use some black ink, color in a little rainbow. That would look good. And I've got this strip here of pattern paper that it was a full sheet of rows of pencils. So I used my guillotine chopper and I just cut the row of pencils out, which was a little harder than you would think because the pencils, each row was really close. So I got that out and I just thought that would be something nice to ground the easel on. Now I went to get a piece of ephemera of this little girl because it comes with 2, and her leg was missing. She only had 1 leg, so I'm like, okay, but there was a chipboard one of her, so I'm like, well, that'll work. And I liked the way she's got this glue gun in her hand. Now, I don't know what she's going to glue with it. Maybe she's going to glue the easel, or I don't know. I don't see anything for her to glue right now. But I was like, so she's got a little glue gun. Anyhow, moving on. There's some kind of wonderful sentiment in here. I thought just kind of went perfect with the rainbow pencils and the rainbow on the easel. And now I am taking a few of the little hearts because there was this big open spot there. Maybe that's what our girls glue in, the little hearts. So I've got a red, blue, and then I end up with a yellow and an orange one to end it up with. So we've got almost all the different colors. I could go back and add a green one, but I say that, I won't go back. I might go back and add stuff to the insides of these cards though, because I didn't put anything in the inside, and I've got so much left in this card kit that it'd be kind of silly not to use more of it up. So that is card number 7. For card number 8. Now this one here, the little easel that you see off to the side there, is one that I made with the stamps in the kit. It came with the heart and it came with the easel. So I did that and then I fussy cut it out. So I've got this bright yellow pattern paper, or bright yellow cardstock, that came in the kit this month as well. And I'm taking a piece of paper that's got little scissors all over it, but it's also got some pink and yellow flowers. So I thought that would draw on the yellow from the background. And now I've got another little piece of the green pattern paper that I'm using to ground this easel on. And as you can see, we've got that going. And there's a bunch of little die cut flowers I had made. I had said earlier I wasn't sure if I used all the die cuts already. Well, I did not, because here is some die cut flowers. Now this is it. Normally I don't always do the die cut flowers, but I was just in a mood last night when I was getting all these ready, and so I die cut some pink flowers and some red flowers, and the red really kind of matches this heart, so I had to draw that in. Unfortunately, I'm not always good when it comes to arranging these flowers. Now I put this pink little flower in the left hand side of the easel, and then I decided I wanted to move it. Well, it was too late. It was glued down pretty hard. So I was kind of stuck with where it was. But I don't think these flowers look too bad. I've got, some pink and the red kind of scattered. I don't know if I should have done every other one. I think that might have looked a little hokey. So I just tried to kind of mix it a little bit. Now I'm figuring out where to put that last flower. I'm like, we'll just put it up on top there. If you see my tweezers there, a lot of people use the reverse locking tweezers, but I've gotten so used to regular tweezers, like when making jewelry and stuff, that I can't use the reverse ones now because I always want to press my fingers in and everything pops out of the tweezers. So I'm just really used to holding my tweezers tight when I use them. And I don't know. I should probably practice more with the reverse ones because it makes more sense. But then when did I ever make sense? I thought I was on the last flower. I get ahead of myself all the time doing these voiceovers. Like I said, too quick or too slow. It's one or the other. So there was this little chipboard word that said super in red, and it was just kind of out there by itself. And I thought, well, with the red on this card, I'm going to just pull that in because why not? And I've got the little yellow that says, hey, hey, hooray, little banner. Now, all these banners to me are upside down. The words should be going the other way, but not much I could do about it. And I took this little chipboard thing that says Happiness Award. It's got a little pin, like safety pin up on the top. And I put that on there because the yellow in the little star goes so well with the yellow background. Here we go, putting that super down. And now I am going to put a few of the sequins. Now the sequins in this month's kit, there was real shiny, like metallic ones, and the ones I'm using here, which are just more like a red kind of plastic, I guess. Well, they are plastic, obviously, but these don't have the same metallic shine. But I thought for this card, it worked better without the metallic shine. Just a little bit of extra bling. And you can see I'm still kind of doing my pattern from the upper top right hand corner going down to the lower left hand corner. I think it's going to be a while before I get that far out of my comfort zone that I don't do it that way. And these sequins, they were just fighting me. They did not want to come off of my wax pencil here. It's not actually a wax pencil. It's just like a jewel pick. I don't know. I've got like a bunch of different things. But once I pulled this out, I was too lazy to try to get a different one. Even though the sequins fought me the whole time. They didn't want to come off of my wax there. So I had to fight with them. They almost won, but at the end of the day, I think I'm a little bit more persistent. So that was card number 7. Going on to card number 8. Now this one here was probably one of the most time-consuming ones. I'm not sure if I sped this up. As you can see, I brought out my little bigger adhesive gun because it has 1/2-inch strips instead of the 1/4-inch. And I ended up putting adhesive all over the front of the card because I have got all these little strips of pattern paper that are leftovers from the different cards that I had made previously. And I want to put them at a diagonal. Now they're all different sizes. They're not from a die. They're just leftover, what I had cut. You got to be careful when you do put them at a diagonal though, because if it's at too steep, the paper itself will not reach end to end. Even though it's longer than the card, you couldn't put it on a pure diagonal. It would never reach. You'd have the white card base showing. So I'm just layering it out, and I have no idea how this is going to look until it's done. I keep wanting to put that strip of pencils down, but it is a short strip and it's not reaching all the way. But I keep, persisting, and I'm thinking I'm going to put it down. And I start to put it down there, and I'm like, oh, wait, there's still some white showing. So I'm like, no, not yet. And now I think I kind of gave up for a while with that. I'm still putting down little strips. No rhyme or reason. I'm just kind of grabbing them here and there, just trying to make sure that they're going to go all the way from one end of the card to the other. As you can see, I've got all different colors, but luckily everything is matching. And it's like, it's like, at that point, the pencil would have worked, but then I realized that it would have cut off the pencil tips. And for some reason, I want those pencil tips to show. I don't know why. I should have used a bigger strip here because you can see I got that tiny little corner there that I'm going to end up putting a little piece of paper on. And I don't know why I didn't try the pencil there because I think it would have worked there. Just... And here we go. Here we're putting those pencils on the very bottom. And there, we got to cut off all this excess. So I bring my guillotine chopper over here. And I think that I'm going to cut off all 4 sides. And I'm trying to line it up, and I'm nervous the whole time that I'm going to end up catching one of those sides. But, you know, I get it chopped, and then I turn it. And I'm still kind of fighting it a little bit, going, did I catch a little bit? Didn't I catch a little bit? It just, I said, nah, this is making me crazy. I know I'm going to cut off part of the card. So I just pulled out my scissors at this point. I don't know how so many people use their guillotine chopper for this. And they make it look so easy. Me, I end up chopping off half my card when I do that kind of stuff. So you're not seeing the scissors cutting this, which is kind of a shame because it's so satisfying when you see all of those pieces cut off. But I've got them cut now, and I'm cleaning up a little bit of my mess, and that is the card front. And I think that's just so pretty, but because it is busy, I've got to be careful what I put on it. Now there is a piece of chipboard that's got a dark blue background, and I'm thinking that's going to work because that's going to show up. I don't want something that's going to just bleed into the background. And there's this little rainbow chipboard too that says Be You, and that just shows up beautifully on this too. Now this is a busy card, but I still think it works. I think it's pretty. So I glue these pieces down. But it needs something still. Even with all the busyness of this background paper, I'm like, what should I put on it? I didn't really want to do sequins, and these little puffy hearts to the rescue again. So I took the little pink one. There's a little like navy blue one and the yellow one, which I put on the blue. So that goes really well. I just used the 3 because the papers get busier the further down we go. And that is card number 9. Now card number 10, it's pretty much a simple one. Because orange came in this kit, and orange hardly ever comes in kits. Orange is so picked on. Nothing rhymes with orange. It doesn't come in the kits. It's only good for Halloween usually. Well, I felt sorry for the orange, so I decided I had to use it. So for card number 10, I used an orange background. Now the pattern paper's got all these little half circles of different colors. And so I thought, well, it's just going to feed into the orange really well and pick it up. And I took this frame and I glued a piece of white paper behind it because I didn't want the pattern of the background showing through. And now we've got some a little rainbow. I'm putting that on, and that kind of draws all the colors together as well. Now here are my little floaty heads. I don't know why they just put floaty heads in the ephemera, but there they are, floaty heads. What are you going to do with floaty heads? So I'm like, well, let's just make a little picture frame with them. And it works. It works. I'm like, I mean, I guess I could draw little necks on them, but that'd be a bit much. Now I've got this little cassette that came with the kit, and it's like, you know, this kit's geared towards older people when you have like a Polaroid camera, which I'm gluing down now, and a cassette and a little pink camera. I mean, do the teenagers even know what this stuff is? I'm sure I'm going to get some comments. Yes, I know what that is. That's insulting. Okay. But, you know, they're not as ubiquitous as they were when I was young. So we get this little banner in yellow that says so much fun, and I glue that down. As I said, this is a pretty easy card. I'm debating on putting some sequins down, but because of the way this background is with the little dots, it just, they wouldn't have really showed up. So I'm like, that's okay. And I'm looking at the little hearts too, and I'm like, nah, they're not going to work this card. So I decide just to call it a day and be like, yeah, this is card number 10. We're done. Now, for all of the cards, you're going to have to let me know which one's your favorite. I think actually the first one and the one with all the diagonal strips of paper are my favorites. I just really love the background on card number 9. So anyway, if you like this video, please think about subscribing or hitting the like button. I love having every one of you here watching. It makes my day. So these are all 10 cards from Spellbinders kit for August 2021. Bye bye for now.